Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? I think now we are officially live.
Yes.
Listen, shout out to everybody who's been waiting. I know we didn't hit the 10 o'clock on the dot spot, but we had some technical difficulties. But you know how we do. We bang through it. Shout out to everybody who's been tuning in. Vatos Jim, you already know what's up. Listen, shout out to everybody who's been tuning into the Hard Corner. I said, we had to drop something. I said, let's do something a little different. Let's have some coffee with our people. What's up? You already know.
Hell yeah.
You already know who's in the building. We got Dr. Doolittle in the building. But we figured we tap in with everybody, do a little update on what's going on. And what's up, John? And who better than, one of my favorites. We're gonna bring him in a minute. But Busky, what's going on before we start? Before we start, it's November 10th. 10:21 a.m. in the morning. What's crack-a-lackin' party people? Kevin Gill, what's going on? What's going on, Busky?
Chillin'. What's up, Kevin Gill? Craig behind. I love that.
Yeah, Craig. Listen, we figured what better than some morning head than with Craigahead, everybody. So listen, let's not even play games. Let's bring them. Yo, it's 10 a.m. in China. Shout out to John Bello for bringing that little stat in. Listen, let's bring them on. We figure let's just tap in, have some cafe with my homeboy, my brother, the OG, the one and only Craigahead, coming live from the land of the anti-Wi-Fi, but we made it happen. What's up? Bring them out, Gator. What we got for the people out there?
Yeah. BM.
What's up? Hey. Yo, listen. First of all, oh shit! Listen, you don't understand.
This is dangerous, man.
There's a lot of low and like I was telling everybody, Craig, what better than to have some morning head with Craig?
You're good. I owe you for that.
Yeah, was crack, but
we're bass players. We're behind the beat. That's the way it goes.
And we're already awake. We already handling business. We already the what do you call it? Like you made it you made it a point to me when I was younger. We are that mattress that holds all these sleepy bastards that they all sleep on. That's why we're up right now. Yeah, the fuck. What's going on? When did you get back?
I did Mexico City last weekend. We had a gig. Biohazard was supposed to play. Their day got switched. So we played Friday and they wound up playing Sunday. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see those guys. But
I didn't know. Oh, so that shit happened. Oh, I didn't know it switched. I saw that. That's dope that you're gonna play together.
Because they had a problem with playing the same day as us. There was some kind of issue that occurred with the festival, so they switched them off to Sunday.
Gotcha.
So Friday was us and Suicidal on the stage we played, which was fun,
That's dope. And how was it? Viva Mexico, right? Mexico, right?
I love going to Mexico. The sound on stage was probably the worst monitor sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Like you couldn't even tell what song you were playing. But other than that, it was great. I mean, other than that, I had a blast. Nice spot to stay. The festival otherwise was good outside of the stage sound.
Let me ask you, what rig are you running with these days? Bass player nerd shit. We got to know. What are you playing these days?
For my own rig, I use a Dark Glass 900 V2.
Okay.
And I run an old school single switch Sands amp with that. But the Sands amp, like I learned from this dude that I respect, this dude that I know, he's a bass player. From Queens.
Oh wow.
I learned don't push the Sands amp too hard. It's flavor, sabor. Don't use it as a main thing because as much as you think it sounds good, you're over pushing it. So with the Dark Glass, all I do is I use it for the low end to sort of get a little more warmth and all the attack frequencies, I just make them a little clearer. So basically the Sands amp is just a little flavor. That's
flavor.
All.
You like the push on the Dark Glass? You feel like it pushes as much as an Ampeg, a tube amp?
Well, nothing pushes like an Ampeg, but this thing, it has a nice mid-range. It reminds me more of my 80s sound where it stuck out more. I got too pro over the years, like too much bottom end, and bottom end for me is great. But I need that. I need to cut through the mix because of the way we play different styles. Like the way Hoya sounds, I love the way he sounds. He don't like the way I sound, but I like the way he sounds.
No, I love how you sound, but only you could pull it off.
Absolutely,
that's what gives you. That's what makes you you. That Nobody could play your side. That's the only time I'll gas you up.
You're a good guy. You're a good guy. I appreciate it.
No, but only you. If I grab it, don't sound like that. And the reason why, you cannot be sloppy or loose with your sound, or else in the mix it becomes very hairy.
It's real easy for my sound to go haywire and be terrible, like it was in Mexico. Exactly. It's real easy. If they give me too much, if they give me a true sound in the monitors of what I'm getting, it doesn't. It comes off like all mid-rangey and cardboard. They need to just give me some warm low end, because what's coming out of the amp, if you project that in the sides, it sounds like cardboard.
Because you have a very tight from here to here. So from here to here, it controls the hair on that. Me,
yes.
My thing comes from over here. So from here, I'm looser, it's open. So you would hear more of where I would fluctuate off the grid with your sound.
Loose I play actually, but I know what you mean. It's giving you that snap more.
Yeah, it's just because I play air more. Again, you're on because my right hand was never good as far as when it was small, when it's big. The bigger banjo. We always used to say that.
AF days was more micro picking. With the others nowadays, I'm more loose.
Yeah.
But you know what it is also, like from you, I picked up, like I remember that one day we played that festival together in Europe, and I played your rig, and I go, damn, this sounds a lot more satisfying than I think it does. It was a lot more cut than I realized. I was like, yo, you got a lot more attack, but it's just the way it's packaged. It lays under the mix, whereas mine sits on top of it.
Let me tell you this.
Your book, I backed off on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Over the last bunch of years, now my sound is more like the low mids for the roundness that makes it stick out. Bunga gong gong gong.
Yeah.
I want that like Geezer Butler like rubber ball thing going on.
Yeah, for sure. No, but let me ask you this, because I'm probably the less nerd as far as knowing more, technical aspects of it. But if you had to give a kid the basic 101, like this is the basic rig you need, just start with that and you'll be able to kill with it. What is it? What's the amp? What's the bass? And
it depends what year you're talking about.
We're talking right now. I want to get into heavy music. There has to be like a standard. What would you say? Because for me, I would say Ampeg still works. An Ampeg, a GK, and a Fender will work for metal, rock, everything.
All of those with an old school Sans amp with one switch, because all of that mid-range cardboard, you can temper it with the Sans amp and get it where you want it. You know what's real good, old school, going back to the 80s? You get one of those old, what are they called? The one that was used on the Roar session that Daryl used, the old PVs, the PV, like, those old school, they'd be in all the rehearsal spots back in the 80s.
Yeah, I know those things.
Those PV heads, the bass heads, those things are like easy, man. You plug in, it sounds like a bass. It sounds good. Those are the easiest thing. They're old school, but they always sound good. But I would go with an Ampeg Pro 4 is easy. One of those GK like 800s. I don't know if they make those anymore. They made 2000s and all that. But Ampeg is the gold standard. The problem with Ampeg is my Pro 4. I like the way the dark glass sounds for live better than the Pro 4, because the mid-range, the harmonics like jump. So bongo gongo, you hear me playing and it's got that like John Entwistle-y, but I could tuck it in more, With the Ampeg, it'll sound more cardboard and more stiff sometimes. Like in Mexico City, I had an Ampeg Pro 4 and that thing sounded stiff. And I thought to myself halfway through the set, it was too late, but I thought I should have just went Hoya, kept it more low end, tuck it in and make it sound warm and not try to jump out too much for this gig. Because sometimes on those gigs, when you got some crap rental gear, you're better off tucking under and just letting it happen.
Yeah, it's rough. Cause trying to push shitty equipment, sucks. Just trying to push anything that sucks. Imagine having pushing a big ball of shit. Everybody, you know how much that would suck. That's what that is when you're playing out of a shitty rig.
I learned a lot from you though. Less is more, and get it where you want it. Don't get crazy. Like I overdo it sometimes.
I used to always battle back. I used to think like, yo, I can't, because I was only hearing myself, like listening to myself. So I used to be like, yo, I got to turn up. And then when I was like, started listening to the band, I was like, yeah, I'm too loud in the mix, or me being too loud, I don't have to play this. If I play this way, it sounds better. And that sounds better if I'm tucked in nice. Like that's the shit you get.
A lot of that, the tucking in, you're saying, like all of that is like, like that's what with the new head I use, that dark glass. it's got that mid-range, so it stands out while it fits better. The band sounds better. Like me and Pete used to clash when I used the Ampeg, because the low I would put in and the low he would put in, we'd sound like Venom or something. You know what I mean? Now with this, it's more like the old straight ahead sound, but a little more refined. So I'm filling the right space. I'm not like bleeding into him as much, and it makes him sound clearer. So cleaned up our sound a lot, make it a lot more punchy. You know what I mean? Plus,
and you're both in 4-piece bands with one guitar.
Yeah,
so that's totally different. It's a different mix.
So when you're doing these quick changes, if I had a sound like you, Hoya, it would probably be like it would sound messy for what I'm playing. You know what I mean?
For sure. It'd be
like
muddy.
Like AF style.
Muddy,
fast.
It would be muddy. It would be muddy when you play, because you guys are exactly.
It would spread too much.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Remember we played those gigs together like 10 years ago, and whatever you were running, and I was like, dude, you sounded like a vampire.
That was the dark glass pedal. Nasty. That's before they had the head. That was just the dark glass pedal.
That thing sounded nasty. I was like, yo, this guy's sound is crazy. I remember everybody was like, yo, that bass sound. You had a crazy sound at that little run of gigs.
The dark glass, where are they based out of? They're English?
What is
like Finland or Sweden?
Finland,
or
it gotta be dark. It gotta be somewhere. Yeah, definitely Scandinavia.
It's like some like territory like that. But I remember when you had that, Busky, and I heard you play by yourself. I said it sounds good by itself, but in the band is when it shined. And that's another thing I learned from you, Hoya, is the band has to sound good. I can't, if I think about what just I sound like, which I'm a prima donna, you know how that goes.
Yeah. No, we all, everybody, because we want to, we all want to sound good, because we assume if we all sound good, the band sounds good.
Absolutely.
But sometimes we're worried about the one color, not the painting. And that's what I learned. I'm like, fuck, man. I was like, fuck, man. Nobody's like, they could say you sound dope or the band sucks. I said, I'd rather have them say the band's dope and not hear me. At the end of the show, you know what I mean? Yep. So I was like, but balance, it is bad. But again, balance is different when you're like, it's hard to, when you're in a band learning, because it's like a push and pull till you learn you all got to push together and not against each other. But,
Mackey's another guy that like sort of like schooled me and took me back. Like I would, when I played with Mackey, I'm like, make the kick drum pop a little more. I want to hear it more. And he'd be like, yo, you're going to turn it sound bad. Just let it be a kick drum. And like, he's like trying to do too much. And I'd kick back, and then the band would sound more organic, like 80s style. Like when the band would play and it would sound like what you want it to sound like. Sometimes we're sick of it all, especially in like the later 90s. We were trying to get more. Like, let's get it to sound. And when you try for too much, you're taken away. Too loud is not good. Too much looking for one thing is too much. You got to just let it gel and then mess with the edges of it, as opposed to every little thing needs to be.
You know what's good? Have you ever had any metal band cover a Sick of It All song, like metal style, not like a hardcore?
Yeah,
because
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would love to hear, because I got to hear it when the Roadrunner, they did the Madball songs, and you had all like those metal. They did it real metal, so it was cool to hear like. Oh, I want to hear how they would do it, and it's pretty funny.
Fast parts,
it's it's a different stiff. It's a different.
You guys
but it's
had that like ultra metronome going on.
Yeah, but it's cool how to hear. Okay, how would you cook this dish? You know what I mean, like that, and like us and you guys are. As even though we have metallic parts, it's far from that type of metal, double bass, straight up metal. So I like hearing it like. Okay, how would you do it? Like, how would they do, like, scratch the surface, but like have like fucking decapitated freaking cattle, whatever, do it. You know what I mean? Like, how would who's that? What Barney? What's
Napalm Death.
Napalm. How would they do it? Like, I know fast, but okay, where there's no candy coated their style covering your style. Like, I love hearing those mashups.
Those dudes got a crazy style of playing. Wild, old school, crazy, like Danny Loca style.
But you should like that shit, because you came up with that back in the day. That was like you remember back,
you want the extreme stuff. You want to go as far out as you can.
Where do you? All right, let me ask you this: where do you think it changed? Because I was younger, but when hearing what was hard when I was a kid was, you hear how fast they play? It was the fast. Where do you think the breakdown became like, they got to bounce or break, because we do bounce, but our bounce is still with a breakdown. in the place of a breakdown. It's a groove dance part. Where do you think
like
that?
AF and the Cro-Mags, like when when I was real young and I was just starting to go to shows, even before that, when I had like United Blood and like the Cro-Mags demo, and like when I first started going to shows, like that kind of stuff is like, you want some creepy crawl, you want some nasty, and even like Murphy's Law. When I first started getting down with Murphy's Law, I was like, this is more punk. It's not even like heavy at all.
Yeah.
But I dig that. I like inspirational music. So that kind of like took away from that. I still appreciate the wild stuff, but sometimes the wild stuff, like diminishing returns again. You get some garbage. You know what I mean? Like it has to be. You can snap around and be fast and quick, but at a certain point, when you try to go too far out with that, it turns into garbage.
Yeah. But
I think a lot of the breakdown was you. Because you kind of brought in another level of breakdown.
No, look, for sure but there was breakdown because we always took like groove, everybody already had. So like groove. No, but like okay, like Sick of It All had that early there, where you had the more swaggy stuff. If it was before you guys had you had the intros and exactly. It's just stuff like that. All right, even early on, in fact, there was always what would be a breakdown part. Who you think was the band that kind of was like your bulldoze? Somebody who exploited that then that said, yo, okay, something about, okay, we're all going fast, but man, this band is, we do the drop parts, but they only do the drop parts, and now every band, we all need that mosh part.
What about Sheer Terror? I got to throw Sheer Terror in the mix only because I feel like the Frost influence,
that's a big one. Sheer Terror, without even realizing it, now that you say that, definitely.
Maximum Penalty, John.
Sheer Terror. Maximum Penalty was a band that when they came around, probably like 87 or something, I was like, yo, I love this band. And they broke stuff down. It had like a little bit of a hip hop sway, but also it's hip hop. 80s New York hip hop, when Rakim came out, that was like, Eric B. and Rakim, that was a big thing. BDP, even before.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of stuff, because, you know the deal with that. And like your bands, like, without me realizing at the time your bands came out, that just pushed the envelope with all that stuff. Because, like, Sick of It All played with it a little bit in a hip hop way. When I was on
Definitely.
when I played like in AF, I wrote that Over the Edge song that had the groove, and that was almost like a template in a way. Not like I created that. I'm just saying that was like a template, but we didn't play smooth back then. You took that and refined it and made it what it became, which was like real rhythm bounce, like almost like Latin hip hop, smooth.
Because you know what it was? What I liked about that and those bands, and I took from hip hop, where they would take a break beat, and the break beat was the dope part or whatever. And I remember AF would have that. You had the bounce, or Sick World had a bounce, or for me, it was the breakdown Sick People. When I first heard that, I go, yo, whatever that is, that's it. Whatever it is, that's it.
And that became Corona Groove Metal.
That's it. Exactly. And after that, then what happened? They broke up, or they became what? Raw Deal. Enough said for me. You know, I was like, okay.
None of us could play like that back then, though.
No.
We were all stiff, but you kind of made it.
But you know what it was? I always liked it was a suburban interpretation of hip hop that was a little stiff, but it was the way it was dope. That's I heard. I was like, yo, whatever that shit is what I like. And that's why for me, Raw Deal took, because Sick of All had it. You know,
Raw Deal
pieces
had
all these people had pieces. And to me,
Raw
Deal,
that's kind of the one.
They brought it all in one. They put it all in one and said, okay, you don't have to be a skin or a punk rocker or a straight edge dude. I love it. Skin to death. A hardcore skin.
I remember Dave would be like, my brother thinks he's a skinhead. He's stupid. And he's like, smack you in the head.
Yeah. Well, to the death, but he could do that. He put me on.
Standing there like looking at him like, I'm here.
But yet, it has to. But it had. That's the way it's always. So they're the ones who put it together and made that. But I know metal band. It was hardcore bands trying to be metal bands. Not trying to be, but so many metal. This is what one beef I got, that it became.
We all mixed it up. Metal bands would throw in.
But somewhere along the line, it got uncool to admit that you were a metal guy, that people were metal guys before that. I'm like, no, thank God there was metal in this shit, or else we'd be playing out of garbage cans still.
First band I was in, we covered like Motorhead and Sabbath. You know what I mean? I like heavy metal. I'm not,
Right now, out of any new shit, you've heard that you think it's interesting? Because
I
there's some wild music out there.
I can't really. I don't really know, man. When I'm home, like I'm not sitting there listening to every new band. I'm like working on my own personals. You know what I mean?
On your Wi-Fi.
Playing, I'm like working on
your
I'm working
VPN.
on my gas chops and trying to learn like some pro style. I want to be like a really good bass player, so I'm working on some other stuff. So I can't even really tell you right now.
Building that firewall.
Yo,
That's it.
you definitely ain't working on that Wi-Fi over there.
No. You know what it is like though? It's kind of non-existent up here, and when you get it, it's hit and miss. You know, because a lot of places don't even have it wired in. You have like the disc or whatever, but now they have it wired in, and it's just hit and miss. You know what I mean? If the weather's bad, it gets jacked. It's not saturated like it is in Queens or Florida. You know what I mean? It's not saturated.
Who played in Mexico besides you, Suicide? Who else? Did you see anybody play?
The Casualties played also. It was us. It was the Casualties, us, and Suicidal together. So I hung with those guys. We took the ride to the airport. Those dudes just embarked on 6 weeks in Europe. They flew to LA.
Doug Mack, what up? What up?
Europe, 6 weeks, and I was like, you guys.
Oh my God!
But they're like in the head. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I'm going. I was like, yo, I can't even. You know how you can't think about that if you're going home. You're like, oh man, I can't even imagine. But you do it all the time. So whatever. The you way geared up for it though, it's like a fight. If they look like, all right, you're fighting Canelo tomorrow, you'd be like, what?
No, for sure.
For 6 months, you're like, all right, I'll take a beating. Okay.
Touring is not for the weak.
No,
that's for sure. And you know,
at this age,
no way. Yeah, exactly. You got to be built for it. You know, not everybody's built for it. You know, that's what happens.
Look at that guy up there. He's pretty quiet today, huh?
Who, me or him?
He goes. He says, "I'm just listening."
I'm waiting my turn, man.
Yeah,
I'm amongst the two kings. I mean, I don't have much to say.
Yeah, well, both of us come to you for advice a lot, though, don't we? Like, hey, what do you think?
Do you take it though?
What do you think about this?
But do you take it? Nah, we're like, fuck that nigga.
Stuff we recorded. Tell me.
He don't know what he's talking about.
He's a go-to guy.
Yeah, we say he gives us his opinion, then we say, he don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, you go the opposite.
We talk shit after he walks away, but we listen though.
Yeah. I know. You think I don't know?
Yeah, and good bass player too.
Burn victim.
He got those 2 letters behind his name. He can put them up whenever he wants.
You're the burn victim.
The burn victim.
No, I don't know about that. I'm not.
Yeah, you do.
But he can put those 2 letters behind his name whenever he wants.
Yeah,
respect.
We're like,
a made guy.
Yeah, let me ask you this: what's your next thing?
I got a show December 9th in Brooklyn. It's a benefit for children. Art supplies in schools.
There you
go. So it's just like a benefit show. So we're gonna do that.
That's the one. That's the one that you guys were putting that the people could hit you guys up and put the set list, right?
Yeah. So we're just doing that, but it turns out that like the side-by-side reunion is happening like down the block, and that was booked afterwards. So, you know, but it's a small club and it's just for children's school supplies. So, you know, it's a tiny place. It doesn't really, it's not a big deal is what I'm saying. It's not like we're putting on our own show.
No. Yeah, it's a big deal if it's for the kids.
Yeah.
So you take that.
It's for the kids.
So it's a huge deal.
Yeah, whoever, you know, that show's booked down the block, but whatever. I don't really know the details of that. I don't really care either. I'm just going to do my thing and, you know, help the kids out.
Yeah, so speaking of side by side and reunions, a couple people have already been chiming in here about Creep Division. Anything possible ever again with Creep Division?
Shit.
Gator, we got some comments. I know I see comments. Throw some Creep Division.
Chuck and I talk about it sometimes, but he's out west and he got hit by a car like a year or two ago. So he was banged up for a minute. Glad he's okay now.
Who got hit by a car?
Chuck, the guitar player for Creep Division. He
plays get out of here.
In Good Riddance. Yeah, I'd love to play again with Creep Division. That's some fun stuff. You know, I get the front, which is cool. But maybe we'll do something. I have a couple sweatshirts I just found. I have like a half a dozen sweatshirts, and we're doing up this Sunday in Albany. We're gonna have a booth set up at Empire 5 from like I think it's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So there's going to be a booth set up, and they're going to be selling our merchandise. I think AF has a booth set up.
Yo, John Bellows asking for that Straight Ahead reunion. What's up with that?
I got half a dozen Creep Division sweatshirts that I'm going to sell there. There's like 5 or 6 of them.
Nice.
And
how did that whole Creep?
Sitting
everybody loves to talk about Rest in Pieces, all the other stuff, but how did Creep Division sort of come to be? Like that the beginning of it. How did you guys get together and be like, hey, we should do this band? And then
back in the 90s, it was mid 90s, late 90s. It was a tour of Australia. It was Sick of It All and Good Riddance.
Okay.
So we're all good friends. We used to tour together a lot. So we were doing this, and it turns out in Australia that we had an opening band, but they weren't showing up for the show. So we're like, yo, there's no opening band. Like, what are we both just gonna go on? So me and Chuck, like always goofing around, we're buddies. So what we did was there you go. Yeah. What we did was we like in the hotel room, we like wrote like half a dozen songs like that. You know what I mean? Boom. So, and I wrote the lyrics down on like a cardboard box, and we went up and played, and we were like, yo, they can't know it's the opening band. So Trevor was with us, Trevor Slimsler, however you say
Shout
that.
out to Trevor. I haven't seen him in a second.
T-Bone.
Yeah.
T-Bone was with us. So we had T-Bone play guitar. I forget who played drums, and so we did that, like, and it was like Trevor and I think maybe the drummer for Good Riddance was playing drums or something, and we played a few songs and a couple covers, and we stunk the joint out. But I put like a stocking over my head, the other guy put a ski mask on, like, yo, we're the opening band.
Yeah.
So after that we were like, yo, some of these songs are okay. So we went back and we recorded, and then did a little West Coast and an East Coast tour, and then we recorded an EP a couple of years later. So it was real fun. It's like an old lawnmower in the shed, man. You just gotta like blow out the carburetor, pull the string, and it goes.
Yeah. You should do it. There's definitely interest over the years, I have to say, rumblings here and there of bands and this and that.
You write them in 2 seconds. I just pick up an instrument and go bang, bang, and it's like 2 chords and it sounds good. It's got a certain style, it's easy because it's like little ditty sing-alongs, you know what I mean?
And are you right now? Are you writing when you playing? I know you practice a lot, but are you recording anything? Keeping any of it?
No,
or you just fucking. I know you just like do a lot of practice.
Yeah, I'm just practicing my actual bass skills. Like, I already have the neck all mapped out, but I'm working on like shaping different chords and sudden changes and combining things. All just bass player stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I like to work on that kind of stuff. I think I overthink though, because I try to think of the most complicated thing I can and then navigate it playing, when in reality, you never really run into that in situations. You're running into 2-5-1s, 1-6-5-2s, like basic, like this chord to that chord. And if you know in every scale what the chord is, if it's major or minor, diminished, blah, 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 all that stuff you guys don't even care about.
I'm more of an R2D2 kind of guy.
Just for the purpose of playing with, when I play with like, guys that are like
Kevin Smith,
hardcore guys, I got to know all this stuff, you know what I mean? Which isn't too often, but whatever. So I work on that because I want to be like able to play anything at any time.
You're finessing your craft is what you're doing. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I
would
love
to
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I would love to be able to just sit in a band and just be like, all right, we're in A, and that's it, and where to go, what to play,
Yeah, but that's like when I'm saying like a
I don't know that shit either.
I don't know any of that shit.
Like, 2-5-1 is just when you're playing like
Jay Price. You hear that, right? Exactly. Listen to him. He knows notes. I don't know that shit.
Yeah. The major scale is 7 different notes. Each one of those notes has a chord associated with it. So let's take the simplest thing, C major. When you're playing the major scale, which is the same thing every time, the major scale can be in any key. The 2-5-1. The 1, 4, and 5.
See that? What does that mean?
The first note of it, the 4th note, and the 5th note are major. Everything else is minor except for the whatchamacallit, except for the 7th, which is diminished, and that just means it's a flat 5th.
You got that, Hoya?
I don't even know my cell number, dude. So let alone this.
Like when you're playing the 2, you have to know the Dorian scale, which is the 2. When you're playing, whatever chord you're playing, you have to know what version. It's a major or a minor, but there's a different note because, look, the 1 is just a scale. The 2 is starting the same scale, but on the 2nd note and going to the octave.
Me personally, when I'm on the 7th frame
scale.
When I'm doing the arpeggio over here during that one part of that one swoop, I glide in with one of these.
Glide in.
Yeah, you got to glide in.
I glide in with one of these. And everybody.
So check it out. The arpeggio off the if you're playing in like C The
Monster.
arpeggio
What
is
up,
the
Monster?
arpeggio. When you're playing in the key of C, but you're doing off the D chord, which is the second note, the arpeggio is the 1, 3, and 5 of the C scale, but it's actually
Kev, what up?
perspective
Yeah.
of the second note. So it's 1, 3, 5 of the second note.
So
that's
everybody
how
out there, yeah.
stuff shifts.
Now everybody on the reel, well, that's when you know how to do that, those notes like that. It's when somebody's explaining a song to you, you'll be able to get around quicker. I
But
never
then
learned that.
there's
It was hard.
Jameson. Then there's Jameson. And all you got to remember with Jameson is the 3 to the 5, he's chromaticing, and
Yeah.
often the 6 to the 8, he's chromaticing, and you're doing that from in the scale. And
I'm more of a
below the scale.
Cro-Magnon more than a chromaticin. So since I do these, Craig, you see this?
Oh, yeah. Do
There
I
you
need
go.
to grab?
Come on.
Do I need
Let's
to grab
go.
mine?
Yeah, I think
Hold
so.
on.
I think this is
Hold
gonna
on.
have. We're gonna have to do something. Hold on. Except, but you hear what I'm tuned to? Oh shit! Everybody out there is getting some deluxe shit. What do you got there?
What do we got? Teach me. Hold that up. Let me see your fingers. What are you playing?
Yeah, because he ain't playing it. He's faking it. Okay, there we go.
That's about it. That's like 2-5-1 jazz, the easiest shit in the world.
So what do you call this when you play like this with one finger?
Playing with one finger.
You call that the Hoya Rock?
Call that the Hoya.
Yeah.
But you know something though?
But
you play, you have a sense of spot, groove, and micro timing that's unmatched by anybody. You have the best micro timing I've ever seen.
Let me ask you this though. So even if you're tuned down, the if you're saying an A or B, it's still gonna fall in the same place.
Yeah, like put it this way: if I'm playing right here, right, like here, this is a C, right?
This is tuned to C right now.
Down to D, so this is an E. If I'm, this is an E. This is an E. This is a D. So I'm tuned a step down. Half a step would be 1 fret. 2 frets is a step. So if this is a C, but if I'm tuned to D, this becomes a B flat. You see what I'm saying? But you could say C. Oh, hit the C if you're tuned to D, because everybody kind of knows what you're talking
right
about.
now that you got the bass out. Now you got the bass out. Give us a line that you do with Sick of It, or one of your favorite lines that it's not on a riff, but a line that you throw in that you have fun playing. Pick one of the hits, because the people out there know the hits. So you know what I mean.
There you go.
You do all that in a song?
Yeah, it's like I'm like walking the bass around.
Jesus, man, that's a lot of. Listen, they'd have to pay me to do all that.
Like Bull's anthem song, it's more like.
Oh, okay. No, I know.
Oh yeah, well that's a real bass playing.
No,
song,
that's a bass.
Yeah, it's like a walk around. Yeah. Actually was like, yo, do something like this, and he gave me like a sort of outline, and I changed it around a little bit, and then I do Jamerson in the middle in the chorus. I go.
Yeah.
And those are all notes that are in a scale.
So it's like those walks. Those are the
walks. Doom.
Yeah.
Right there. That's 3 to 4 to 5. So
just a chromatic.
So it's all that chromatic. Like when you're playing like old Jamerson, like Darling Dear and stuff, it's like watch. Oops. But I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And those notes, like these notes aren't in the scale, but all I'm doing is taking
walking it up.
I'm using all those chromatic notes to play around. You know what I mean? And it's like there's a Jamerson exercise. Hoya, you should learn this. The Jamerson exercise, it's in the book. It's real simple. It teaches you in every key how to go between the 3, the 5, the 6, and the 7. So in C, if you're doing you go right. So it teaches you. Oops. So it teaches you how to
play 5 Go Rings, the beginning, the riff.
How did that go?
Hey, I always try to figure that out. Those are hard enough. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah.
And I go.
Yeah.
I do like a slide in there.
All right, and one more. Go ahead. Well, divide it. The bung gung 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 bung gung 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 gung. Because that's Iron Maiden, but I like that. Yeah, it's in the yeah. That's the yeah. And then yeah. Yeah, that was a good. That was a shit.
What was the writing process like for that record? Like, how did you get in a room together? Did you show up with riffs? Like, what was the writing process? Huh?
Pieces you talking about?
Yes.
Oh, that was stuff Armand already had written.
Wow, pre-written, or did he jam that? Was that pre-written?
Rob wrote 1 or 2 riffs, and I think on one of the new songs I wrote like 1 riff. But like it was really all Armand's stuff that had been around forever. So he pretty much, that was all him.
That's so wild that he came
like
up with that stuff at that time.
Very busy riffs, but it's rhythmic. He's a Armand. You think of him as a drummer, but he's a very good guitar player and bass player. He plays.
Yeah, you look at him as just a gorilla, which he is.
He can play.
But he can play. He plays everything. And why again? They were one of my favorite bands pieces, but I also got to see when they were writing that record. I would always go to their house, right during that time. Me and Double O, and they were writing for those records.
Trouble.
So we would roll up and be like,
detail about pure trouble. Hold on, you acted like that was some normal stuff.
Yeah, just keep it moving.
Busky, when this guy was like a teenager, this guy was a maniac.
Of course, dude. Of course.
I love him, but he was a maniac. You know how many times I had to give him shelter?
Yeah,
let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
we used to roll up with bags of guns and then make them hide it for us. That's what we used to do.
I didn't say that.
Shelter.
I don't remember.
The years of the limitations of whatever hesitation or whatever that word is.
Let me leave this here for a minute. What?
But what was dope is they used to live in the
people. I'd see Ed. I'd say, "Oh no, this guy."
Shout out to the Shake House, everybody. The Shake House was the house. My boy Devil, Craig, and Armand lived at, and it was in our old neighborhood. So whenever in the winter there was nobody hanging out or whatever, we just stop by, call them. They were always hanging out, and they were like, "Yo, come through and hang out." We go there, just chill, and they would always play us the demos. So they were doing the demos for the new record. So we got to hear a lot of it, or Armand be jamming it, or Craig, we're going to the studio or whatever. So I remember like, we're getting Pusshead to do the record cover. I just remember the talks. Like that went on with the record.
Do you remember? Were you ever there when Devil ordered Chinese food and we played that joke on him?
Yeah, tell them.
Can we talk about that? Or is he gonna be mad?
Please, no. Our people today, now, because the followers need to hear this one. Listen to what these guys used to do at this place.
This is probably 89, and myself and Armand and our friend John, we call him Devil. He's an old friend of ours, an old school alleyway guy that we're all friends with. God. So we all lived together in Jackson Heights. Kind of near where Anthony Cominali grew up from Killing Time. So what we would do is Devil would come home from work. He was a bus driver. He'd come home late, so he'd order Chinese food. And so me and Armand one day, we were like, all right, the Chinese food guy's coming. So what we did was we blasted, this is back in the VHS days, and we were like young dudes. So we had put a porno tape in the VCR and turned the volume up. So when the guy comes to the door, it's like, in the background. And Devil's like, the guy doesn't speak English. The guy's just looking at him like, what's with this guy? And he's like a big, giant guy, Devil. Devil's like, my roommates are assholes, but the guy doesn't speak English. So when he's done, he's like, you guys suck. And me and Armand are laughing, we're cracking up. So we did that to him a couple of times. So then he was good with electronics, and he's a pretty smart guy, Devil. So Devil does rule. That's right, Bello. So what Devil did was he rigged the whole system, the whole electronic system, where he could switch it off with the light switch, and we couldn't figure out how to get it back on. So one day he orders Chinese food, and me and Armand try to trick, and the thing doesn't work. And he goes, "Yeah, assholes." He goes, I rigged it. You won't figure it out. So we're like, damn, what do we do? So we run into our bedrooms, and we were 18 years old at the time, 19. So back then you had porno magazines because you were a young man. You know what I mean? Straight, I'm just getting crazy. So what we did was when the Chinese guy, the delivery guy, left. We were on the 3rd floor. So we opened the window, and when the guy came out downstairs, that was like, "Hey, you didn't get me." We threw like 30 porno magazines out the window, and they showered down on the guy. The guy like jumped back. He's like, "What's going on?" And there's like porno magazines all over the floor. It was the funniest thing ever. The guy just got on his moped and took off. And then we had to go pick him up. And the kid that lived below us. Remember Eli, the kid that lived below us?
That's my man. Shout out to Eli. He's out there killing it right now.
We were all scared, though. We were like, yo, I hope Eli's mom or sister didn't see that. We didn't think about it before. We're like, yo, he's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. Like, he was a nice
That's
kid.
my man. Yeah.
Like, yo, I hope the ladies don't see it. We felt like, oh, we can't do that again. But it was funny when it happened.
Oh, that was great. That was a great pit stop, Queens, right there. You know, that was the pit stop. And that record, though, it was crazy because when that record came out, it was also kind of a big deal, I thought, because that was the time where bands were all these the post-hardcore bands were starting to pop. So it was like, oh shit, they got a chance to do something, you know, on some other shit, or is it gonna happen, or what's gonna happen? Because at that time, anybody dropping a record on a it wasn't not a major label, but on a more a bigger, even if it was independent, it had everybody was going for it, like trying to push the next thing, like the next thing outside the wetlands, the CDs and all that.
So it only went so far.
Ooh, look at that right there.
That's got to be like that's got to be 89 or something.
So let's see that. You know anybody in the thing? And he obviously dies.
That's Armand's brother right next to her, kneeling down by Rob's amp. That's Armand's brother, Cameron.
With the glasses on?
Because my brother used to talk about him, but I never seen them. So that's okay.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's Steve Martin in the other corner, all the way in the very corner.
Yep.
And that's all I could really tell.
Who's on drums? Who's playing drums?
Al Brand, the guy named Al.
He was like the first guy, and then they bagged him.
Yeah. Right? Well, no. He went on and he became like.
But there was somebody who didn't you bag? Somebody got bagged in the process of recording. No.
Well, you'd have to talk to Armand about that. I don't know.
I want to say what I'll say it. The bass player somebody got canned in that band. That's right.
Was a great guy. That's all I got to say. I love that. His mother used to cook for us. That was a great dude.
Oh shit! Wow. Look at that.
Do-rag on.
Look at that. You almost look like Max Morse right there.
Yeah.
What?
Look at Armand.
With
a hammer.
Yeah, look at him. He got look at his hair, everything. He like. That's Speedo. That's Speedo Armine, right? That's Speedo Armine right there.
Yeah, it's like a bag. He's like a bad guy right there.
That's the Armand you wanted at the bowl.
Yeah. That's the Arm & Hammer right there.
He was like the bashful Armand at the ball. I was like, what are you doing? Come
on.
He
was shy.
He was a
shy guy.
He hadn't fronted in a while. When you front, you just got to have fun.
Front man is a rough gig.
Some dudes are hard frontmen by nature. Like Freddie's a hard frontman. He just comes off. You know what I mean? But like, if you're not, you can't try to be that. So you just got to have fun. Like when I fronted Creep Division, I was just playing around, having fun. Hey guys, how you doing? Like I talk to people. I don't have a routine. I'm gonna say.
No, but Creep, you can have fun. Like Rest in Peace. This was kind of a harder. So it's hard with Armand like laughing. I get it. He's like, oh, I got to come out now and
He was a mean guy.
And
back then he was a mean,
angry,
bad man,
angry Iranian.
Yeah, now he's like, he's like
a happy Iranian. Now he's a
gentle guy now. He's not gentle, but he's not the same angry dude he was,
It's all the beer went to his head.
Okay, right there in that picture that we saw before. That picture right there, if you had to say, what was your rig? What were you playing out of? Which amp?
Back then?
If you think right there, ballpark.
Playing through an old school Ampeg SVT rig, probably. Or even then, it might have been like the GK800 with a DOD EQ pedal. So
DOD pedals.
I would take the DOD EQ, that like blue and gray one, and I would just mess with the switches to try and make it stand out. The same thing I do now, you know what I mean? But back then, that's all it was. In AF, I used that a lot. The GK with the DOD bass EQ pedal.
You ever use a rat pedal? Did you ever use the rat pedal?
I've heard a rat pedal. It was too
extreme.
That was for guitar, like Stigma guitar guys.
Yeah, I don't want to sound all distorted. I want to sound like I got bite.
Yeah. What did Danny use for distortion? Lilker, do you know at all?
I can't even really say.
Or overdrive?
I would say back then, a lot of those guys used the TC. A lot of them, like Das used the TC electronics, right? For overdrive.
Okay.
I know a lot of dudes use the TC electronics.
You play faster, play heavy and faster, or more Ruben like on scratch. Listen, I like to play both. When it calls for it, the thing is, you always got to be in time, but there's a point to push forward. Like the fast parts, you want to push a little forward, not necessarily on the bass, but you want the drummer to push a little forward on the fast parts and pull back a little on the slow parts, and you want to meet them on that. So you can't be ahead of the mix. But I will say that there are like certain things, like there's a song called Machete on one of our albums last few years, and it's a bass break, and you know it goes. The bass break is how does it go? It goes. I got the pick here.
Yeah,
jump out. It goes up. So the band and the bass break in the middle, it goes, you know, in the beginning, it does that, and the band comes in. So we come in, and then there's a bass break a little further in the song. It happens again the second time around. So what happens? It goes and the bop ba, and the band comes in. So we always rush that. So it goes, we're ahead of it.
Yeah,
the band comes in too soon. So when we recorded the album, we were like, yo, we jumped the gun on that. We must be excited like 80s style. So what happened was we took Pro Tools and dropped it back, and it went, and the song lost 80% of its energy. Wow. And we were like, yo, that's gotta be like that. That's
the stutter.
That mistake, that rush is the urgency.
That's it.
So
yes.
we call it, and this is Danny Lilker termed this phrase. That's what you call a screen door entrance, where you bust through the screen door and you're like a little ahead of it because you're excited. You feel it. So sometimes you leave slop in sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I get it in something like that because exactly the urgency. It's like if it's too much on the
Freeman. Remember we were talking about Matt Freeman the last time I was on?
Yeah.
And you were saying how he has some slop, and like if you listen to his phrasing,
love it,
and you play it in slow motion, it's nice phrasing. It's all musical phrasing, but he's doing that stuff so fast.
Yes.
When you hear it, it sounds like almost like fucked up slop. Like, what's his phrase there? You got to listen to it in slow motion and figure it out. And I go, oh, that's what he's doing. He's just doing it so damn fast that it sounds kind of like crazy and frantic, but that's the punk.
He plays, that's the Sabbath. He plays those licks like a fast Sabbath. That's what that slop, it's like open.
You almost can't tell the phrasing until you listen to it a few times. You go, I see what he's doing. Okay.
A bass gotta have that opens, even when you're playing fast, you know, the slop is the swing, is the mud, is the fucking, it's the swamp, is what you got to do. You got to lift your foot higher to get to the next. And that's what makes that push and pull. And you could play it and then you could play it. Now, when you're playing it, that's where a thing comes. It comes from the air. If you're taking a lot of stutter steps, it's da, 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 da. Now you're taking big goofy steps, but you feel the thumb, boom. It's a feel. You lose feel. Yeah. You get, your ear will get the timing stays on, but you lose pulse. The soul gets
like with the whole sport. You're a boxing man. Like you learn your technique in the gym and you practice, and it's perfect. And when you spar, you're like, some of this stuff doesn't work. I got to do some slop here. It goes between technique and the fight. Well, when you're playing music, there's like technique, and then there's the excitement and energy. You got to just kind of adapt, and like your actual style tailors from what you think would be perfect. Perfect isn't technique perfect. Perfect is what works in the soup.
And people don't understand, especially.
I watched I was going to send you something yesterday, some Roberto Duran old school training footage, and they show him hitting like a real stiff heavy bag, probably the early 80s, late 70s, and he's like leaning in a little, pop, 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 and you see the power he has. You're like, yo, this dude could kill a horse. Like this guy could hit but it's like that kind of thing. You're excited, you're in there, you're digging. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing with bass. People don't understand. The minute bass had a pair up with distorted guitars, that's where you need, a bass player had to have, if you strip down any bass player and you take just single dial guitars, single dial bass, the bass is going to sound like, a good bass is going to sound sloppy because it's filling in the air of what perfection is. Perfection is this, and then it's filling in those all the ridges. It's doing all that. It's that last layer, you know, that it just sinks in everything, all those pockets of air. Absolutely. And I'm like, if you strip down Cliff Burton, listen to it. It's nothing's on the grid. You're gonna tell me it ain't dope, but it's exactly, but exactly. Jameson stripped down, you hear it, but in the mix, you can't touch it. But you hear it's kind of off, but it, you know why? He's not playing for that, he's playing to the track.
The last record we did, I heard my bass track solo, and they're pretty sloppy, but it sounds energetic and good. And I'm like, yo, I used to worry about it being perfect. And if anything, that made the band sound smaller and a little less wild. I'm not saying you should be off time, but you got to let it go. You know what I mean? You got to let your stuff go.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Fucking these people and right now I think you're hearing how there's a lot of people going. I've seen a lot of the new bands now, they're going back to old style equipment. That's like a new thing now. I'm noticing a lot of more like, I hate to say vintage, but it's like shit that we came up with now, like
sounding.
You know? But like they're doing that, like it's like to them it's vintage, but it's like, yo, that's what we were using, and to us we were trying to get the old stuff.
Like I was saying, like I was trying to make my sound more deep, better, this, that. It got worse. I had to go back to like the mid-rangey, but with low end, with high end, but like the body, you need that, some of those mids to make it boom, boom, to make it sound like it's pulsing. Mid-range, it's just a blanket. Some bands need the blanket. It just depends what you're doing. You know what I mean?
And do you think the ever search for finding the right sound, do you think it has to do with records, or you know what I mean? Like, wow, you hear it, production is better now. So even low end is different now, high, mids are different now. Everything is more, there's just more. You think that because we were content 20 years ago with our sounds.
Whatever, yeah.
You know what I mean? We were content 15, but we still, we could get more. What is it that you think that we chase? That is it, because we're playing live, you think live we could get more out of it, or something that we're hearing on records to keep up? Like there has to be something, but I don't know where. But there's for sure.
Live is look for good enough and look for very, very good enough.
Yeah.
Because if you try to get that extra 15%, you get 85%.
Yeah, you won't.
Let it sit.
Yeah.
Then play the rest of the way. But if you're looking for more, you're only gonna you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? Say studio, the studios. I just want an old Ampeg SVT that's been on since the day before, and I want to get a nice bitey sound. And then just like I look like Jerry, let's bring out the things that sound good with the band. I don't even worry too much about how it sounds by itself, except for in the breaks. You could tailor it for the breaks, but how it sounds when the band's playing, that's what really counts. It took me a long time to learn that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that shit's great. And fucking it's a bitch. It's like, I think you could either learn when you're recording, or you just be like, yo, I liked what I did, or I didn't like. Because I noticed I was kind of early on thinking that like you're too busy listening to what you did, and you're like, fuck. Instead of being later on, I was like, man, he hits the word on that part. I could have hit this. Later on, I started looking at it.
The deal. Those lines, when you play the song live for a couple tours, the lines all change.
They all change. Yep.
I'll have a song, and then when I'm playing, I'll hear like some other notes that I put over the guitar note. I'll run the third to the fifth, like all that stuff. Like, unless that's why a lot of bands' first albums are so good, because they played that stuff live for years before the album came out. So they all know their parts, and they developed into what they are live. But like, you have a new album, you write songs, it's like 6 months later, you're like 3 tours in, you're like, oh damn, I changed the bass line. But it is what it is.
What's wild to think too is think of years and years and years ago when you used to bust out a like 1 or 2 new songs in a set, and be like, oh, this is a new song, we're gonna play for you guys, blah blah blah. Nowadays, you don't ever hear bands really say, hey, we're gonna play you a brand new song. Like
my guys are very like big on wait till the album comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that goes back to, you used to try things live before you would record them, and you could see what would work live in a way.
I like going back to old school. I like mixing. I like to have a different set list every night.
Yeah.
But my guys are a little more regimented. They like to produce in a way that they know what the result's going to be. So it's just differing opinions. That being said, fully flipping the script on the set you can have like a not cohesive set also. So it goes both ways.
The set. I want to talk. before we go, everybody, make sure if you want to hit that link, keep hitting the link. You know the deal. Shout out to everybody who's been tapping in. If you want to support, we got those shirts up. Yo, Gator, hit them with that. Show them what we got
Support.
in the building.
Smoke alert,
We
all
got,
that.
listen, everything goes to the show. We print it right in-house, right behind us. No machine. This is the machine that works everything out here. Everything is homegrown. Gator Food and your man over here taking care of business, but everything goes back into the show. If you want to support it, we're trying to keep it fresh and sexy. That's right, for the culture. We got this. So shout out to everybody who's been representing and tapping in.
Bayside Queens.
To Queens and hold on one second.
You let that one go, huh?
I know, but shout out to Queens. And
you let it go.
And with that being said, also, I want everybody, if you haven't heard, I got something new I'm about to drop. Go add Smoke AD right now on Instagram.
That stuff.
I have a lot of information about to drop very, very, very soon. But until then, we're going to hit them with a little teaser. Gator Food, hit them with that. Tap in Smoke AD. Add us on Instagram. The single drops in a couple of weeks and the video. Hit them with that teaser, Gator. Yo, listen, we are really excited. I'm really excited to drop this. We've been busting our ass. We got a lot of things. The video's ready to rock. The single's ready to rock. I got to drop something fresh and sexy. And I love keeping it family. And that's why I wanted to do this today, keeping it family. And with that being said, if we're going to keep it family, let's keep it family. Yo, Gator. Speaking of Smoke AD and smoking all day. Yeah.
What's
yeah. Yo.
Yeah.
Put your mic on. Put your mic on. Your mic.
We can hear you. You need your mic.
Hello.
Yeah, there he goes.
Where you from? Bayside?
Don't ever say that ever again.
Yo, and he just woke up, so you're gonna get a good one of him, boy.
I'm far away right now. I can smooth this out over the next couple weeks.
Guys, listen, I love you all. Listen, I'm from Jackson Heights, Queens. I moved to Woodhaven.
Stamp in the cans, son. Stamp in the cans.
You know, I said,
yo, listen, Greg, I love
food,
you.
son. What?
I love you.
Listen, I wanted him to drop by and say what's up. I know I said, yo, if you wake up on time, because he's in Midwest Milwaukee time.
Yeah.
But you know, and he's taking care of business, but we about to drop a little bomb. Like I said, we can't let too much info out just yet, but we're gonna have some fun. This one's for Mary Jane.
Wait, hold on a second. Craig Satari and Busky's right on top of them. That's crazy, son.
I love it.
Yeah, this is like Hollywood Squares, right?
Players now, son.
Queens, New York Squares.
Isaac was a bass player.
Yeah, you're a bass player.
Listen, I'm not.
Don't start. Don't start. Hold on. Don't start with that bass player. Tell him.
Listen. If it wasn't for me,
let me find a picture.
My sister's bass Hawaii. There'd be no Madball. There'd be no Smoke AD. There'd be nothing.
You're a big wheel in the Queen's machine, no doubt.
No, let's talk about his basketball career.
Oh, stop that, please.
I heard something about that.
That's for another episode. That's for the basketball, the Queen's athletic episode.
Yeah, I remember. Just the other week, I got in trouble. Yeah.
But no, I figured we have some cafecito. I said some morning head with Craigahead, right?
Oh,
that's great. That's
how you doing over there? How's Milwaukee treating you? DRP?
Listen, everything is so good out here.
It's cold as fuck, though, right?
Listen, the past year, I am blessed that I'm busy and that my life has gone to a different level in my career, in acting and music and everything. So, and I cannot say I did it by myself. With you three guys have helped me in every other way. So I want to say thank you to you guys.
Oh,
I want to say thank you, Craig. Hoya, I just
Thank you.
I gotta say thank you. I love you. And Herschel, I love you. But Busky, I love you, Busky.
Love you.
you know
My
what's
mom
up?
sends her love. My mom's just right over here. She's like, "Is that Hazy Danny?" I'm like,
Oh yeah, your mom's.
Oh,
Your
wow.
mom, listen, Craig, your mom's a beautiful person.
My
I
mom
just
loves
want to
you.
say this, like, guys, listen, seriously, like, I make a lot of jokes and talk a lot of shit. I'm just going to say that I'm happy. I'm happy how our scene is going. I'm happy all the bands are doing well, and I'm just happy that fucking we have an outlet and a channel to and all the support from each other. That's all. And thank you so much for everything, for all you guys. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know what's up? Exactly, and that's what
Word.
I said. I said, that's why I try to keep. I heard this shit recently, and it's and I think one of these rapper dudes or whatever, but he was saying he heard if you run what horses, to get a fast horse, you got to run with fast horses. So I only fucking run with fast horses. That's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. Because listen,
Same with boxing. You got to get your ass beat, or you're gonna stay at the same level.
Yes, you know what I mean, and exactly.
I want to say this way: the people who have made their life did not sit there and was safe for what they were doing. They tried everything. They tried. Or they went, they attempted, they failed, they did
You're
it
not
again.
safe.
Look at everyone.
No.
If you really want to know about life, we're gonna watch Sylvester Stallone's new thing on Netflix, bro, and you'll be like, "Oh shit!"
Right,
That's
for
what
sure.
I'm saying. Life is fucked up, and
there's always somebody always got it.
Out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, for sure. When you think you got it bad, there's somebody who got it worse. That's just a fact.
When people say, "Oh my God, this and that," and the fucking dicks and everything. And you go to Lash's house right now. You will have the best time in the world.
Yes.
And you hang out with Lash and laugh and homeboy.
And they don't know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And been through hell. You know what I mean?
Been through hell.
He's keeping it positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh no, for sure. People don't know. I know what it is to have to, maybe travel 24 hours for maybe a chance of somebody to stay alive, maybe a couple hours more. And people don't got to go through that. And you know what? They shouldn't. But I like reminding people, hey, you know what? That shit happens. Hopefully it don't happen. So get yourself straight. So you hopefully don't got to go through it. And if you are, you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
You think about what people go through, and when you think you got it bad, you look at other people and what they went through and how they thrived through the most difficult circumstances. And then you realize, I got it good. I should be happy and fortunate. I mean, with you two guys, like make me understand that like you can still stay on top of things and stay positive even when the circumstances around you become difficult. So it's inspirational, and things, there's levels. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep positive no matter what. I say that with a sad heart, but also as an inspiration, because tough times make determined individuals.
Yep.
And I had to.
Yeah, listen. Look, Hoya's been through hell the last fucking 2-3 years. More than that, me, whatever. For me and Hoya, our lives, what happened to us, but we were brought up with our mothers and fathers who loved us. You know what I mean? And
come from love. You come from love.
If you see how these people are, if you have a mother's love, your mother don't love you, they're like, our mothers love us. And
we're mama's boys. That's why we are like we are. We all
we respect women, and we respect fucking people, and we respect other people's other lives. And so I grew up, where I'm from, it's all type of lives. That means there's gay people, there's fucking there's Jewish people, there's Christians and Muslims and Sikhs, and I respect everyone's culture. You got people that don't know about that. and you go somewhere in the Midwest or you go to the West Coast, they think that the Chilean flag is the Texas flag or the Puerto Rican flag. They don't know anything. They think they're all Spanish people.
A lot of people don't know.
I mean, I grew up. I know my people that respect the cultures, respect everything, man. But today,
everybody got something to teach you. Everybody's got something to give,
But you know what the problem is? The first thing is that people don't start with their own circle, and that starts with those people worried about what's not in their circle because they weren't schooled because whoever was teaching them was on that same bullshit. So
I chilled with some old school rabbis. And you know how much I learned from these dudes? Forget about it.
I never left. I only went. The first time I went out of Queens, I only been out when I was a kid. I only went to Rhode Island and Puerto Rico. Then Sick of It All took me out all over the United States. So
took you to Rhode Island too. I remember.
Back to Rhode Island.
But then when I went on tour with Sick of It All, I respected this band stuff is a job. Watching these guys, and watching Sick of It All now, it's a job. Watching everyone play. Busky is one of the best graphic designers, and he will tell you if something sucks. If your music sucks, he'll tell you, and he'll do it with a little smirk too, make you laugh. But I'm saying, but Busky is a person too that we like the dude has so much insight and so much stuff like with the art and stuff like that, and we have that in our circle, and I feel blessed that we have people like that. We have people like Craig who travels the world over and over and knows what markets. Hoya, you know what's going on with the hard music. We know the metal, the fucking hip hop. You know what's going on. It's but we're all hardcore kids. I mean,
you know what it is. What it is. What I'm glad that there's still us people like us being from a later generation that are still. Hey, we show our face. We still show that we're in it. We show that we pop up we still here. We touch base. We let them know what's going on. Nobody, because there's a lot of older dudes that think they're bigger than it. There are a lot of bigger dudes that are hating on it. There's younger people that think we hate on it and hate on us. Exactly. And like any younger kid, you got to show them that, no, it ain't like that. You think, oh, no, my parents this or my aunt that, blah, blah, blah. And then you learn with time, now they had our back. If we're just judging, we got into this music shit because people judged us. Now these same motherfuckers are judging the new generation. That's the shit that makes me laugh.
Yo, check it out.
The older guys that they hate the younger generation, don't want to help them, but you have to understand that, dude, it's always the younger generation. When we first came apart, everyone hated us. They didn't want to even. All the older guys hated us. Then they said we can't.
You made trouble when you came around.
But it's also the music. You think about the music. Like
troublemakers when you came around. I remember you.
But the music too, though. Every generation, people want to say that's not hardcore. That's not hardcore. Prime example when Madball came out. That's not hardcore. It's too slow and blah blah blah. Every generation has that.
Yeah, no, for sure it's that.
I remember the first time I heard Earth Crisis. All Out War, and I was like, that's fucking metal.
It's
man.
just
And
metal.
I didn't like it at first, but then I grew to love it because I knew the heart of the gentleman making it.
Yes.
100%. And I always loved metal.
It's different. You just had to keep your mind open and absorb what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hardcore.
And they were doing it. They were doing it like Earth Crisis, All Out War, Hatebreed were bands that were, to me, metal, but I tell the hardcore punk guys all the time, the best thing that happened to punk rock was the metal guitar player became hardcore. That's it.
Yeah.
And those guys are hardcore here.
They're hardcore kids.
And here. They're hardcore guys.
They're hardcore. No, they always were. You know what it is? The problem with us that was it maybe early on, but then it can either be a negative or a positive. We came up from drinking out of the water source. The further out from the water source, the purest becomes you're more open to what's on the other side. We were right. We couldn't stray that far. In New York, you weren't allowed to stray that far. If you did the metal shit, you had to be, I got to be from Brooklyn. I got to be down with Carnivore. I got to be from Long Island. It had to be those other metal dudes. They're from Brooklyn. or Staten Island. If you're a hardcore positive, you're gonna be from Connecticut or from
Yeah,
Astoria.
right.
And
We were talking-
everybody else is from Queens and Bayside.
Right.
We're talking Bayside. We were talking about Brooklyn. We were talking about groove before. Brooklyn brought a nice groove. Brooklyn brought a nice groove.
Of course.
That groove.
Get-
The Brooklyn groove is serious, man.
Look at all those,
Biohazard
everybody,
Carnivore.
all that,
Like,
for
I
sure.
need those groove,
Yeah.
man.
Look at, you know why? The discos were in those spots. The dance clubs were in those spots. The dance clubs were the metal clubs. We all know that. That vibe was always, nobody came up listening to fucking AF. They were born listening to the Cro-Mags and all that fantasy. That's all fantasy.
You find it.
We hear what our parents heard, what the cars in our neighborhood were playing, what our neighbors, what our cousins heard, and then we found what we like. Then
You got a nice
later
house.
on.
Danny looks like he's living in a nice spot right there. That looks nice.
Yeah, nigga, Milwaukee, dude.
Stone on the wall. That looks good, man.
That's fucking Laverne and Shirley territory, yo.
Yo, listen.
You live with DRP?
Yo, do they got statues of Laverne and Shirley there?
I wonder how far we're going to. That's serious. All the jokes are gonna come. So here we
You
go.
live with DRP?
Yeah, listen. Is there a statue of Laverne and Shirley there? That's what I want to know.
You know what? If there was, I want to do the Malachi Crunch.
You remember the Malachi brothers? They were hard.
Malachi Crunch.
Let's start a band and call it we start a band, call it the Malachi Crunch.
I think there already is one.
Malachi Crunch?
I think so. I think so.
And what about Pinky? Who you like? Leather. I like Pinky Tuscadero. Who you like?
Pinky Tuscadero's hard.
You like Leather? You remember her cousin or whatever, her sister?
Yeah, the guy, the weird,
the guy,
yo, Squiggy and Lenny and Squiggy.
Squiggy.
Shout out to Lenny and Squiggy.
Yeah.
That's all.
But,
that's the Kohler brothers. That's the Kohler brothers.
Yeah. but
crazy, man.
Listen, but what's going on, Craig? What's going on with you guys now? What's anything new? Let people know. Let people know what's going on. And what's the next step for you? Sick of it all, Craig? Everything,
We're just, we have a bunch of songs that we worked on a while back. We're gonna pick up the whole new music thing and get it together and put a new album together. We got shows
for when you're looking to put on a new record.
Well, I don't know about when we're putting it out, but we're looking at toward the end of the year. You know, like December, to start getting together at our undisclosed location and rehearsing. And stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
we'll put up the address of the studio after this, everybody.
Crazy, you know?
Yeah, we'll put up the address of the studio after this. Done to close this. Yo, E, what's next? I know some of the stuff that's going on, but let people know what's going on. And I know you got some stuff going on also with the merch stuff that you were doing, and you got some shows coming up. Let everybody know.
Oh man, I got a lot of stuff going on, but the real big things is December 1st in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm doing Diablo Fest. So
get those tickets now.
Get the tickets. Go to DannyDiabloMerch.com. Get the tickets. I just dropped an album. You can pre-order it right now at DannyDiabloMerch.com. Also, the album's Danny Diablo versus Piss Bob. Young kids from Jersey City, Cuban, Ecuadorian, Puerto Rican, white trash kids. That fucking dope rappers, trap metal. They're on my label, E-Train Records. So Danny, you pre-order right now, get a bundle, you get a keychain or shirts that with Dref, MQ, and fucking me on it, and E-Train Records. So it's called Danny Diablo vs. Piss Bob. The new video is out right now called Fire. Go to my YouTube channel, check it out, like it, subscribe.
Let me tell you, you do international?
Huh?
You sell international?
Yep, international. So all over. So also on December 8th and 9th, I'm doing the Black and Blue Music and Arts Festival in Miami South Beach during Art Basel at Kill Your Idol Bar in South Beach. And I got a whole bunch of bands playing, and it's an art show. The 8th is the big art show. The 9th is all the music performances. And then the 10th, I think me and Scamdust are supposed to play with TJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia.
And yeah, for sure. That's going on. We went to the one last year. It was a good time. So everybody come out. Yeah, there was a good time. It's a real cool bar right there, right in right by the beach.
All art and we all kids from Queens. And it's Art Basel, so everyone's gonna be there. We're gonna chill with Conrad.
Yeah, it's a real good time, and the weather's perfect actually
Slippers
down
gonna
there.
be there? You got some slippers on that?
Yeah, Tony Slippers is actually performing on both of them. Shout out to Tony Slippers, shout out to Piss Bob, shout out to West Nile, shout out to They Live, and shout out, I just saw everyone. I just signed Scam Dust to E-Train Records.
And there you go. Da, da, da. And I saw him out here. And the DRP just dropped the video too.
DRP dropped the video. Fucking yes.
What do I got to do the promo? He right there. Do I got to do it? Yo,
he's not mad. I don't man.
I want a royalty. I want points on that. I want a fucking DRP publishing fucking point. Fuck that.
DRP. Me and DRP and I are doing the album also.
Because I saw you dropped the video though. So
the video
today. And also, we're doing a Ruckus podcast show tonight with
get all this Busky.
Name.
Whatever happened to Diablo's Den? Jay Reeves and Diablo's Den. What's up with that?
Shout out to Jay Reeves, and that's the secret weapon right there.
Shout out Jay Reeves.
Pizza last time I was in Connecticut.
Listen, Connecticut, go to Static Era Records.
Yes.
Jay Reeves, and that's the secret. That's the secret weapon right there. We got a lot of things cooking in this kitchen.
Whenever you got a white-looking Cuban, you know they're evil.
Be careful. Be careful. Wait, they go to places that I can't get into. You know, like he's our milkweed. He's our Miklo.
Milkweed.
He's our milkweed. He can go into places that we can't because the color of his skin.
I got that. I'm working with my brother Hoy up there. We got Smoke AD. Basically, what else? There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just
the show, and I'm also, I saw that you had clips. Shout out to Kamal and his show.
Listen,
I gotta push this guy. Yo, you sure you don't want me to man? I want in.
All right,
listen.
Management.
Listen, guys. Besides being an amazing fucking musician, I'm also a great actor.
Where is
you hear this?
There you go.
Don't be saying this. So I'm doing the how old are you guys? How old are you?
Guys never stops.
Yeah, you get fun. Yo, big boo party.
I've been acting. Shout out to come out for the man for the Jerky Boys.
Shout out to come
Trap. And I did season 1, season 2, and now I got to do season 3. Also, I did this dinner movie with Don Caprio, and I'm also, I can't talk about this, but I'm doing a major movie next year. So
couldn't understand the word he said. What did he say?
We heard major movie next year. That's enough.
Thank you.
Yo, Danny, didn't Peter Green put you onto acting? Because he must have taught you. Because your acting's good. What I see, I'm impressed.
Listen, you're acting right now, but trying to be a nice guy to me. So stop
it. Listen, shout out to
Peter Green has taught me a lot.
I love you, buddy.
Yo, shout out to Peter Green. Shout out to Peter Green and his hot dog. Listen, before I'm gonna go with one last story.
You good.
Yo, Peter Green's story real quick. Listen, Ezek had got married. That was already another story, but whatever. We're flying back. So I'm going to say it because we right here. So I arrived to the airport. We're catching 6 in the morning. Listen, we're hungover, blasted out of our brains. So we're standing out front, and who rolls up? First of all, a pickup truck, right? Who's in the pickup truck? Peter Green, Scam Dust, and some girl. Scam Dust comes out with no shirt, and Peter Green comes out. Yeah. Peter Green comes out. He's like, where you going? I'm going to New York. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, crazy. We're hungover now, whatever. Who comes pulling up? Busky. Obliviated. What's going on? He goes, I'm on standby. I'm trying to catch a flight home. All right, let's see what's up. Now, we're fucking wrecked. We get on the plane. Busky ends up getting on our flight. Yeah. Coincidentally, they sit him right next to Peter Green. He sits next to Peter Green. Busky starts throwing up on himself. Peter Green flips on him like, yo, what the fuck you doing? I fall asleep. Yo, I'm asleep right in the back. I'm sitting next to, I forgot who I was with. And I hear, Hoya. What the fuck? And I look up and it's Peter Green in the aisle and he's eating peanuts. He goes, yo, you want hot dogs? And I was like, nah, I'm good. He goes, you sure? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. He goes, all right. And he just kept walking like if he was a stewardess or something. I don't know what he did, but he's like, you want hot? whatever. We arrive, we get there. Busky's like waking up, like all kind of like, yo, we all like
Sweating.
dismantled.
Sweating.
Right? We're sweating, we're walking
Never heard
out, and
this one
Peter
before.
Green, he walks up next to me and he goes, where are we? I was like, yo, bro. He's like, I was like, yo, we're in New York. And he goes, where you going? I'm like, yo, I gotta go see my kid. I'm like, and then he caught Busky. I ducked out, and then Busky caught Peter Green, and then I didn't look back. And then I don't know what happened. He tried to go home.
You know,
He was, but Peter Green was on his way to Italy to do a movie, but he
You see him
forgot.
on the news the next day.
Yo,
I'm puking all over myself, and he stands up, and the row behind us like recognizes him, and he's like rubbing my back. I'm puking in one of those fucking puke bags, and he's rubbing my back. He's like, all right, everything cool? What are you on? What are you on? And I'm like, nothing. I'm just drunk as shit. And all of a sudden, the people behind us are like, are you Peter Green? And he turns on, he goes, shut the fuck up. And he just starts rubbing my back again. It was amazing.
Yo, what better way? Yo, we gotta end on that one.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to Peter Green, Craig. One love, I'm glad you were
Yeah.
able to jump on here.
Hell yeah.
Ezek, I'm glad you
Queens,
jumped on.
Greater
You know
New
what's
York
up.
area in the house.
You know how we do. We had to do this. We're gonna probably do this once a month so we could just tap in and let everybody know.
Guys, I would say thank you everyone for fucking always being there for me whenever I needed you guys.
You know what's up.
Love
you know
guys.
what's up, fellas.
No, seriously,
yeah.
like the what? Listen, this one. All these people talking to stupid bands and like hardcore unity. Like,
Yeah.
We all make fun of hardcore, but what hardcore saved my life. It wasn't for hardcore, I would have been definitely dead in jail. You guys know that. You know.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all everybody still carrying that same feeling. Because we still out here. Shout out to New York Hardcore. Shout out to the Bass Mafia. Shout out to everybody around the planet who's been tuning in. For real, we know, especially in Europe, we have a big following in Europe. Everybody in Canada, South America, Chile, Brazil, we hear you. We feel you. We out here and we ain't going nowhere. Sick of it all. Danny Diablo, Busky, Smoke AD, Smoking Word TV. Stay tuned. We're about to drop some bombs. Yo, we out of here. Yo, one love, fellas. I'll hit you guys later with the info.
Great seeing you guys.
We out of here.
What is that, the Burn BM card?
Peace.
Yeah.